Hi, welcome to another episode of This Is Anything Goes. Today we are still going to be working on the Perodua Myvi. As you can see, the last time this car was serviced was when it was at 185,000 kilometers, or roughly about 2 years ago. Yeah, this was when it was supposed to be due. This is the mileage that it was supposed to be at 192. We are currently at 193,000, and we are in almost at mid of May 2022. So 2 years. All right. So let's see how the oil looks like. Okay. Okay, as long as the oil level reaches here, that will be the correct level. Alright, next. Okay, so considering the fact that this car has not been used much for the last 2 years, I mean 8,000 kilometers in the last 2 to 3 years, it's very low, and it has been sitting around for about a year. Alright, and I've been using it for about 2 weeks now. Everything seems to be good, but I would not want to take the chances. I'm gonna change the filter and the spark plugs, and I'll flush the radiator one more time. Alright, so in the previous video you saw that I flushed it. I'm flushing it again because there's a reason, and I will explain it later. Okay, just push it aside. Okay, so to remove the spark plugs, you need a bit of a longer thing. Alright, and you need it to be size 16mm, but I don't have, so I'm using a size 17mm. And it works. It works. Seems like the chamber has oil in it as well, so I have to have a look at that. Okay, so what if you do not have the proper tools to actually take out the spark plug, because it's actually pretty deep in? You use a straw. And it's drenched in oil. It's drenched in oil as well. That was drenched in oil as well. Looks like all the spark plugs are actually quite good, except that it's drenched in oil. Alright, the replacement part is, as you can see over here, XU22PR9. It's just very drenched in oil. Okay, so to just roughly clean it, I'm gonna use a metal prod, brake cleaner, and kitchen towel. And we'll repeat this until it's clean. Alright, that's fairly clean. Okay, next what you do is you drop the new spark plugs in. So some of you will be thinking there must be a reason why there's oil in it, most likely the gasket leak or anything. Yes, you are correct. It's most likely the gasket and the spark plugs are leaking, but I'll leave that for a different DIY, alright? Alright, so over here what you do is you hand tighten it to a point that you can't tighten, then later we'll use the tools to actually just give it a quarter turn. Okay. Okay, quarter turn. Okay, maybe less than a quarter, 1/8 of a turn. And we're done. Alright, so we have tightened this 1, 2, 3, just like how I showed it to you earlier. How to remove it is how you open it, and time to not put back this air filter. Alright, let's put a new one. This is crap. Okay, so we're done flushing. Just a simple flush. I flush it from here and I flush it from here, and I disconnected this hose so that the water can go through. Okay, so it's not a complete drain. The flushing was done about 2 weeks back, so not much came out actually. There wasn't rust as well. Alright, it's just water. So whoever that was messaging me and telling me that just putting water will cause rust, well, they are correct. but in the short run it's okay. Alright, in the short run that is okay. And I found out that my radiator was not cracked. Alright, it was just a simple radiator cap that is worn off. Alright, so I bought a new one to replace it. Alright, it's from APM. Right, so it's a 1.1. I'm not sure what's the original spec because it's so old that the labels are gone. Alright, so I will plug back everything and I will put in the Toyota coolant and we should be done. Alright, so there we have it. Everything done. We have changed the spark plugs, we have changed the oil, we have changed the air filter as well, and we have changed the coolant as well. Well, what can I say? For oil that has been in the engine for 2 years, it's pretty standard. Alright, it's pretty standard for engine oil that to look like this. It doesn't feel gritty, it's not milky white, there's no water in it or anything. Alright, so I don't know. I'm no scientist, I'm no engineer, but I think we can service our car based on mileage instead of every 6 months you need to change the oil. But I don't know. Alright, I'm not gonna challenge the industry standards, it's up to you. What I've used is this Shell Helix 5W40. Ignore that, that's just lying around. Alright, I was thinking whether to use 30 or 40, but I'm thinking maybe 30 is a bit too light for the Myvi, so I changed it. So I decided to use the 40, and I'll save the 30 for the Inspira. Alright, spark plug wise, only one of them was dry and it looks to be in fairly good condition, but the rest are all wet with oil. Alright, it's all drenched in oil. So you saw how I cleaned the spark plug chamber. Alright, so most likely I will need to change the gasket after this as well, the head gasket for the Myvi. Alright, in terms of the oil filter, because it has not been removed for so long, it was difficult, but I got it removed. Yeah, okay, so I'll talk more about this later. Alright, that's the end of the video, and I hope you learned something from this. This is how I changed the engine oil and basically service a car that has not been serviced for 2 years. Alright, so as you saw in the beginning of the video, this car has only gone about 8,000 kilometers, but it took about 2 years plus, 2 years 3 months. Alright, this car is one of my spare cars and it seldom get used. Alright, the last time it was moved, as I was saying, was probably in January 2021. Alright, when I moved from the old house to the new house. But for the past 2 weeks, I've been using it just to rake up the mileage so that I hit the 8,000 mark, and I can safely say that I have reached the time to change the engine oil. And as you can see from the engine oil itself, it looks pretty much just like any other engine oil that has been used for 8,000, 10,000 kilometers. Alright, it doesn't look like something has been used for 2 years or something that has been inside the car for 2 years. Alright, so based on my recommendation, alright, this is just my own personal opinion. Alright, change your engine oil based on your mileage, not based on your time interval. I know manufacturer asks you to change every 6 months, but it can get kind of expensive, especially if you have a couple of cars and you don't use some of them, right? Okay, so based on your mileage is my recommendation, my personal opinion. Okay, in terms of the spark plugs, it has been in the car for God knows how long, I have no idea. Okay, but I changed it anyway. But one thing to know is that all 4 spark plugs actually was in pretty good condition. It's just that it's drenched in oil. Other than that, it's actually working very well as well. But since I have the spare, why not just change it, right? Okay, air filter. I'm not sure how long it has been used, but as you can see, dark grey versus white obviously need to be changed. Okay. Oil filter. Okay, every time you change your engine oil, make sure you change the oil filter. Don't skim on this. Don't try to save this couple of dollars. Alright, just change it. Alright. Yeah, that's all about this DIY. Oh right, the coolant. Okay, so some of you all mentioned in the previous video where I was flushing the radiator, why didn't I put coolant in? Okay, at that point of time, as you all saw in that video, it was leaking. So there's no point in me wasting money by putting in fresh coolant and have it leak out. Alright, but however, I've not changed anything, but I'm putting coolant in this time. Reason being is, I discovered that there's no crack on the radiator casing, but there is a crack on the rubber gasket underneath the radiator cap. So I just changed the radiator cap to a new one. All is well, all is fixed. Alright, that's why I put the coolant in. Okay, so that's it for this DIY. As usual, I hope you learned something, and if you have not done so, make sure you hit the subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified. Alright, I'm going to add in a bonus clip here. This is a car that I have sitting around for a couple of years, maybe 3 to 5 years. Alright, in the same spot, have not been started. All I did was just change the battery and it starts perfectly well. Alright, so this goes to show that as long as you take care of your car nicely, alright, no matter how long you abandon them, it will start right out after you change the battery. Okay, so till next time, I will see you again. Welcome to another episode of This Is Anything Goes. So today it's not much of a DIY, but more towards trying to get this car started. Alright, so this is a Proton Putra year 1999, so it's about 22 years old. I have not used this car for a while, probably 3 years it has been parked here, so you can see that it's overgrown with grass. The paint is a bit faded, a bit cracked, and the rotors are rusted. Okay, so I've just changed the battery because the car wouldn't start. Right, okay, so I've changed the battery, I've changed the remote in the I've changed the battery in the remote as well, so I to see whether this car starts now or not. Alright, it has not moved or even got started for the last 2 to 3 years, I believe about 3 years. Alright, moreover with the lockdown in Malaysia, that was about almost 1.5 years, this was just left here, just like that. Alright, so let's see. Okay, it seems like the car started without any problem after changing the battery. Everything seems good as well. Engine running smooth. No check engine light as well. Okay, this is good. Okay, I'm gonna take this car out for a drive just to shake off the rust here and probably pump a bit of petrol in it.